Put the mic where your mouth is.
Yes, sir. All right, man, let's keep it moving. Next topic. Broadcasting from sea to shining sea, 0400 Across the Street Productions presents the 0400 Across the Street Sports Pod Report. Now, here are your hosts, Derek Little and Jay Taylor. Yes, sir. Today is October the 9th, 2016, and you already know we are back in the booth talking about this crazy college football weekend and upcoming NFL action. Let's go. As usual, we'll have a great show on tap for you, and as always, big time news, big time show. Can't wait. All and more on tap for you on this podcast.
Absolutely glad to be back with you. We want to cover some of this great action in college football, talk about this upcoming NFL action coming on today. And I guess we want to start off with literally probably the biggest upset we've seen all year, with the Navy Midshipmen topping the Houston Cougars 46-40.
Yeah. What a game. What a game. And look, here's the thing. Lee Corso, I believe, he called that game. I know that he's affiliated with Navy.
Right.
46-40.
Yeah.
This is going to hurt Houston big time. One, because of the conference that they're in, the ability not to get back to this level now with that one loss. Mm-hmm. Some teams, they can survive the one loss. Houston is not going to be able to survive this one loss. They are now out of the playoff picture. But that's a big game
because the only team they play with a winning record is Louisville, who lost to Clemson. But
absolutely.
And I kind of expect Louisville to beat them anyway. So, yeah, this is this spelled doom for them all over.
Hey, you got to give a big shout out to those Navy Midshipmen down in Annapolis, Maryland.
That's it.
Look, the superintendent told them after this game that they're off on Tuesday. No classes.
Hey, already got a holiday Monday, extending it Tuesday. You got to love that. You see the pride. Guys rushing the field. It was just a huge upset. Houston played good, but Navy was just all over those guys, man.
Yeah. And the weird thing about it is that Navy now is 4-1. They may move themselves into a ranked position. And, for me, I always like to see our service branch academies in the rankings, whether it be Air Force for 1 year or the Army with West Point or the Navy. I mean, we've become accustomed to having Navy have good seasons.
Yeah.
And to me, they're one of the best branches as far as when it comes to athletics. We all know about Roger Staubach coming through there, David Robinson coming through there, and then you've had some others come from the Naval Academy. So seeing them win is always a beautiful thing, and especially in a game like this where you have the number 6 ranked team in the nation coming to Maryland and getting a victory.
Yeah, Navy definitely got a pretty good, a pretty decent athletics. I mean, they lost to Air Force last week, but we ain't gonna talk about that. Former Air Force
only loss on the year.
And obviously they got the big time showdown at the end of the year. That means a lot to people in the military community. The Army Navy showdown,
absolutely,
which is going to happen obviously the last game every year. But yeah, much props to Navy and getting that victory against Houston's been coming up ever since last year and really been threatening to put themselves in that national playoff picture, and they just crushed them. So you had to feel good about that.
Not crushed them. 46-40.
Well, crushed their hopes.
Crushed their hopes. And
you had a guy walking on the field as Navy was rushing the field. He was just walking along there. Everybody just swarming around him when Navy guys rushing the field, and just head down. I mean, like you said, I don't think they're going to be able to recover from this. I don't know how far they're going to drop, but because Navy only does have one loss. But it's probably going to be about 8-10 spots.
It's going to be a big time. It's going to be a big time drop. Not just that, but I'm wondering also if things don't work out, if Houston does beat, let's say, for instance, Louisville at the end of the year, do we see Houston possibly petition to go into the Big 12 or somewhere else?
They could,
because right now they're in the American Conference. Okay,
they don't want Big 12 don't
big
want
time programs. You don't know. I mean, the way that these conferences are going now, I mean, they're pulling people from all over the place.
They are.
Okay.
But I don't.
You got Colorado in the Pac-12.
Yeah.
Okay. You got West Virginia. West Virginia is in the Big 12. So I mean,
it depends on where the money is.
And not just that, but they were number 6 at one point in time. So it's not like they didn't have the talent.
No, they've got the talent.
If they were in the Big 12, they would have been the highest ranked team in the Big 12.
Correct. And that's why the Big 12 doesn't want them there.
It could be. It could be. I mean, we saw how the Red River rivalry went this weekend between Texas and Oklahoma.
Yeah,
45-40. And Oklahoma survives.
Yeah.
Baker Mayfield had a great game, and Texas now is in a full-on downward spiral. After picking up the big victory early on in the year, they're now 2-3, 0-2 in the Big 12. Oklahoma moves to 3-2, 2-0 in the Big 12. Baker Mayfield again with 3 touchdowns. Samaje Perine 214 yards on the ground.
Yeah,
Oklahoma. Look, they had their losses this season, but I think that they're going to be able to run the table in the Big 12 there and get themselves into at least a good bowl.
Yeah, no, I believe they'll be in a good bowl. I mean, this is a big win for them over Texas. It not necessarily it's a big conference win, and obviously a big rivalry going on down there. But Oklahoma's in good shape. Texas, on the other hand. Charlie Strong is really probably going to be on the chopping block here.
Yeah, he's on his way out. I mean, look, you can't lose at Texas.
No, you
That's
can't.
one thing that you can't do. When you have top ranked recruiting classes, you just can't lose there. Okay, and the problem that they're going to have now. I mean, who's out there that you can actually pull away? I mean, you have the money at Texas to go after whoever you really want. Les Miles is going to be out there. You're going to have some other coaches that you may be able to pry from some of these universities, but I think that you need to at least ride it out with Charlie Strong, at least through the year. I don't think it's a Les Miles type of thing.
Right.
Les Miles started off ranked number 5 and then they dropped out. So that was something totally different. Texas, they had a big time win, and that was the way that they got back into the actual rankings.
Well, this is a third straight loss.
It is.
I mean, teams are pouring points on you. You're talking, you beat Notre Dame first game. All right. That was number 10.
And we find out that Notre Dame isn't
47.
even.
That was a big time win for the program.
Felt that but now we're finding out that Notre Dame is not that team.
Exactly. And, then you start trailing down their schedule. Cal puts up 50 points on them. Oklahoma State puts up 49 points on them. Oklahoma puts up 45 points on them. It's like, come on, man. I understand that I don't know if you want these shootouts like this, but where is your defense?
Well, even in the game that they won against Notre Dame, they scored 50. Notre Dame scored 47.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So teams are just pouring the points on these guys. And, you're going up, you got Baylor coming up, Iowa State coming up next week. So, yeah, it really may be time to make a change. Like right now, I can see Charlie getting booted right now, because it's not that you're losing. It's the games are exciting, but they're not exciting for you. And you get the feeling that if somebody scores that many points, that you're going to be left holding the short end of the stick.
Yeah. That's I hope he can survive through the year. But I don't see it. I don't see it. And it's in the fashion, like you said, the way that they're losing. Look, I tell you one thing, and I can promise this. Okay, you lose to Iowa State at home,
that's a wrap.
They're gone. He's gone.
Yeah,
he's gone. He'll probably get fired right after the game.
40-some points. Ew, my goodness.
Yeah, he won't make it to the Baylor game. I can promise that.
Indeed.
Absolutely. So we got some teams that actually had some strong showings this week. Clemson, they go in, of course, on Friday. They beat Boston College 56-10. Alabama, they had a I'm not going to say a rough time of it with Arkansas, but they beat them handily 49-30.
Right.
The rookie Jalen Hurts, he's still keeping this team on the right track. Alabama is showing, exactly right now they're the number 1 team, and until they lose, until they play a close game, them and Ohio State are going to be 1-2.
Right.
Or at least until the BCS comes out and says otherwise.
Exactly. Yeah.
Michigan goes out, drops 78 on Rutgers.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. I think they held them to like it was under 100
39 yards.
39 yards. Of,
39 total yards.
Offense.
600 to 39.
Oh my goodness. That's a it is Rutgers. Okay, we're not talking about a top program powerhouse here. But you got Illinois and then you got Michigan State coming up. All right. Yeah. Obviously you got the Ohio State game at the end. Last week they only put up 14 points against Wisconsin though.
Right. Which is a defensive game.
It was a defensive game. Right. But you look at that game all the way down to the end with Ohio State, and Michigan is basically saying, look, you really need to put us in the conversation. Right. All right. We haven't really been as of yet. I know we're the number 14 right now, but with all the talk about Clemson and Louisville and all these other guys, nobody's really talking about Michigan because the assumption is Ohio State is the top dog there. Right.
Right.
And I don't necessarily know if that's true. And I think that game at the end, the Ohio State Michigan game, is going to be the game that, really shakes everything up there.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And by that time, we're going to have the BCS out. Who knows where Michigan may be?
Right.
Michigan may be, the number 3 team, and this may be the time where we may see a 2 versus 3 game or something like this. It's great that they play at the end of the year, but that's only if Michigan can survive Michigan State.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. They can get over that hurdle 2 weeks away.
Absolutely.
I think they'll be sitting pretty going in and getting to the end and playing Ohio State.
Hey, what about those Washington Huskies?
Oh,
Washington, look. In the Pac-12, they moved to 6-0, 3-0 in the Pac-12. They beat Oregon 70-21.
Yeah.
You want to talk about a statement game. Jake Browning passed for 22 of 28, 304 yards, 6 touchdowns.
Yo, I mean, you knew it was a good game, a good outing last week when they beat Stanford. Okay, number 7 team in the country at the time, 44-6. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And then you turn around and drop and hang 70 at Oregon.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Wow. I mean, these guys are making their case as well.
Yeah.
I mean, I know they're out in the Pac-12, but man, I mean, the only other ranked team they got to play is Utah right now. I mean, I know we still keep talking about USC, but USC isn't what it used to be. We know that. You got Cal coming up, and Arizona State, but yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think they're going to be in the conversation, but it's going to be tough for them to crack that top 4. It really is.
I tell you this. Think about this. We may be looking at a position where, quite naturally and possibly, you have Alabama, Ohio State, or whoever wins that Ohio State-Michigan game at the end of the year, if everyone runs the table, Clemson, okay, Washington, and Texas A&M possibly. You could have 5 undefeated teams vying for the playoffs.
Yeah.
And if you get, and it hasn't happened, but if you get 5 undefeated teams from your Big 5 conferences, what do you do? Who goes in? Who doesn't go in?
You take your strongest conference, and right now the Pac-12 just isn't the strongest conference.
And that's going to hurt.
It's not. I mean, as bad as solid as they've been playing, their conference just doesn't represent the true strength of their football team.
Right. And I would agree with that.
And it's unfortunate for them. It's not.
Unfortunate.
I believe they're a good football team, but it's just unfortunate for them. They got to have some. When the BCS comes out, they're going to crunch these numbers the same way we're talking about it right now.
Right.
And they're going to say you need more quality wins.
I guess the biggest thing is going to be if in fact we can see somewhere along the way where teams start to separate themselves. Now, the big game coming up next week. Not next week. It's going to be the week after that. It's going to be that Alabama-Texas A&M game. Yeah. That's going to start to shake some things out because Texas A&M should move up to around number 6. Okay.
Right.
With everything that has happened, they should be moving into that number 6 range. Possibly Louisville may start to move back up. They're going to be playing against Alabama. Alabama gets through this game, and then they beat let's see, Alabama then goes on and they win a couple more of their games. Alabama, like we said last week, Alabama will definitely move into that